Now, Jack, a completely unrelated question. Do you like MrBeast?
No.
Jack, do you think MrBeast ruined YouTube?
Yes.
Now, in all honesty, Jack, why?
Because it became more about views, money, and popularity than it did about having fun.
You just don't think you had fun playing Squid Games? You don't think you had fun riding on yachts? Building wells in Africa? I don't know.
If he had fun doing those videos, they'd be longer. We'd see the fun. Thought you were going to get me with that one.
Just a year ago, going after MrBeast on YouTube felt like social suicide. The moment you questioned his videos, his massive business plays, or the direction the platform was heading, you were instantly labeled jealous, washed, or bitter. There was no in-between at all. Either you praised the grind non-stop, or you were written off as someone who couldn't keep up with the pace. But that energy didn't last long, because things flipped way faster than anyone expected. Looking back at just the past month, the shift is wild. The awkward lie detector clip, the LE situation, the AI thumbnail chaos, and the growing discomfort from longtime creators all stacked up fast. Suddenly, the people who were called haters before don't look unhinged anymore. They look early. And that's the part that's making everyone uncomfortable. Now it's obvious those early critics weren't throwing hate for fun. They were waving red flags, warnings about where YouTube was heading and what happens when scale and views matter more than actual creativity. They were pointing out what gets lost when originality gets shoved aside for pure optimization. And now, we're seeing it play out in real time. The lie detector clip is the perfect example. On the surface, it looked harmless, goofy jokes, playful energy, nothing serious. But something real slipped out anyway, and you could feel it. The point was never that money is evil or that success isn't earned. What was really getting called out were priorities. YouTube quietly shifted from make cool stuff with friends to optimize, maximize, dominate. And that shift hits hard. Scaling up isn't the villain here. Reinvesting money, building teams, treating content like a real business, none of that is the issue. The problem starts when growth itself becomes the product. That's when everything begins bending out of shape. Videos stop being ideas and turn into vehicles. Every upload exists only to justify the next one. That's why the stakes keep getting bigger, bigger reactions, bigger promises. Not because the idea needs it, but because the system rewards it. That's exactly what Jack was calling out. It was never, MrBeast is bad, or money ruined YouTube. The real issue is that when growth is always the answer, creativity turns into straight-up math.
It's a new way to make professional-looking viral thumbnails with zero Photoshop experience. And the best part is, this new method works in every niche. Whether you do gaming, cooking, beauty, this works for all of them. From creating custom results from any channel to literally being able to put your face on a thumbnail, it literally feels like cheating. This is the home of the AI tool where you can type in any channel on all of YouTube and it will use it as inspiration for the thumbnail it's generating. So for example, let's say you're MrBeast. You would just type in MrBeast here. Now it's going to look at all my recent videos and get inspiration from them. And for the prompt, I'm going to type in stranded on a volcano. And there you go, we now have a thumbnail with me dangling on the side of a volcano. This is perfect for inspiration, and if you do a couple iterations with the system, this is how you can literally generate your thumbnails going forward.
Back then, MrBeast's response leaned heavily on effort, years of grinding, reinvesting everything, doing good, inspiring people. All of that is true. But here's the catch, that response never actually touched the criticism, because the criticism was never about effort. This was about gravity. When one creator becomes the blueprint for success, the entire platform bends around that formula, whether people like it or not. Even creators who never wanted that lane suddenly feel boxed in. Every thumbnail has to look massive. Every title has to scream like it's life or death. And if you don't play along, people say you're not serious about YouTube. That pressure doesn't stay at the top either. It slides downhill fast. Smaller creators start feeling like they're quiet, personal ideas don't matter anymore. Mid-sized creators feel pushed to drop the exact thing that made people like them. Editors and designers watch years of unique style get flattened into whatever trend is popping that week. Before long, everyone's chasing the same metrics, using the same buzzwords, copying the same structures. Slowly, the platform starts to feel clean, polished, and weirdly empty. That tension existed long before the Lunchly situation. That moment just made it impossible to ignore. On paper, Lunchly looked flawless. 3 massive names, MrBeast, Logan Paul, and KSI teaming up to launch a modern lunch product. Clean branding, better optics, influencer power stacked wall to wall. It was engineered to win from day one. But the real issue wasn't whether the product was slightly better or worse than other options. The issue was how it was framed. It leaned heavily on influencer trust while being marketed as a better choice for kids, instead of focusing on clear, transparent conversations about nutrition. That's where eyebrows went up. That's where the tone shifted fast. Dan TDM's response is what really hit. It wasn't loud. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't some dramatic call-out. It was calm, disappointed, and simple, just a quiet, do better. And somehow, that landed harder than any exposé ever could. That's because Dan represents an older era of YouTube. A time when creators built communities, not empires. When success meant connection, not domination. A time when content aimed at younger audiences wasn't buried under branding language and influencer credibility. When Jacksepticeye stepped in after that, it didn't feel like clout chasing or drama farming at all. It felt like defense, not of himself, but of an audience that never asked to be marketed to this way. That's why the backlash didn't disappear overnight. This wasn't just creators arguing. Viewers were locked in. Parents were paying attention. Longtime fans felt like a line had been crossed. This was never about tearing influencers down. It was about pushing back on the idea that trust is just another resource to cash in on. And just when that controversy started cooling off, the AI thumbnail situation lit everything back up again.
Guys, a week ago, I launched an AI thumbnail tool to help small creators make better thumbnails, and I thought people were going to be pretty excited about it, but I definitely missed the mark. If you open up Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. And so I read all your guys' feedback, and I've been thinking a lot about it, and so we just enacted some changes that I think you guys will find positive.
The tool was sold as empowerment, a so-called assist for smaller creators. Auto-generated thumbnails. Learning from successful channels. Leveling the playing field. But almost instantly, people saw the darker side. Styles getting copied. Faces being mapped. Logos showing up without consent. Entire creative identities, things people spent years building, suddenly treated like datasets, and that's when it fully clicked for a lot of people that this wasn't just about one creator anymore. And it didn't feel like help at all. It felt cold. It felt invasive. To many creators, it felt less like support and more like extraction, like the system wasn't lifting creativity up, it was harvesting it. That's why Jacksepticeye reacted fast and blunt. Because in that moment, this stopped being about thumbnails entirely. It turned into a fight about ownership, ownership of identity, ownership of style, ownership of whether creators still control who they are on the platform, or if everything is about to be automated, optimized, and flattened into the same look, the same vibe, the same formula. That's where this conversation stops being about one person and starts being about the system itself, and where it's really heading, now. Let's be clear, MrBeast didn't invent the algorithm. He didn't force anyone to copy his playbook either. But when a platform rewards one single model of success, everything else quietly gets pushed to the side. Weird ideas. Slow burn content. Niche communities. Small, human moments. Those don't scale cleanly, and once scale becomes the measure of worth, the soul of the platform thins out fast. That's where the real line gets drawn.
Going forward, there is no AI thumbnail tool. Anyone from now on that signs up for ViewStats Pro, there will not be the AI thumbnail tool. It just doesn't exist. We pulled it down. And on top of that, I wanted to go one step further to really show artists out there that I care. If you go on viewstats.com, under our more tools section, it will say hire thumbnail artists. And if you click that, it'll take you to a page of artist portfolios where you can commission a real thumbnail artist to make you a real thumbnail. So I care more than any of you could ever imagine about the YouTube community. I mean, obviously I'm the biggest YouTuber in the world and I don't take that responsibility lightly. And so, it deeply makes me sad when I do something that, people in the community are upset by. And I also want to put out there that I guarantee you, I have spent more money on thumbnail artists than any other YouTuber in the world. I've probably spent more money on thumbnail artists than the top 100 creators combined. I mean, I have a small army of thumbnail artists that work for me. I'm looking to hire more thumbnail artists. So I just want to put that out there, and I have no intention of firing my thumbnail artists or anything. Like, this is, just supposed to help make them more effective and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you know what I'm saying. But regardless, it doesn't matter. The tool's down for future people that sign up for ViewStats Pro. And now it's a funnel to help artists make more money. So I'm really excited. Go check it out. Hey, go to viewstats.com and click on the hire the artist tab and, go commission real artists, help them make more money.
Not between creators, but between philosophies. Bigger is always better versus better doesn't always mean bigger. And that tension doesn't wrap up neatly. It just hangs there, lingers, and makes everything feel a little off. What made this whole stretch uncomfortable wasn't just one controversy after another. It was the pattern. Every time the platform got nudged toward a boundary, the response wasn't reflection, it was acceleration. Bigger launches. Faster pivots. Louder explanations. More polish. That works short term, sure. But it also creates distance. Distance between creators and audiences. Distance between intention and impact. Distance between what YouTube used to feel like and what it's slowly turning into. And that gap keeps growing, and people can feel it. The AI thumbnail reversal is actually a clean example of that tension. And to MrBeast's credit, he did walk it back. The tool was removed for new signups. A directory for real thumbnail artists was pushed instead. He even highlighted how much he already spends on human designers, which, in YouTube terms, is almost unheard of. That was a real course correction, but here's the uncomfortable part: reversals don't erase instincts. They expose them. The urge to automate. The push to optimize creativity. The habit of treating style like data instead of identity. That mindset doesn't disappear just because a feature gets pulled, and that mindset isn't unique to MrBeast at all. It's what happens when platforms reward scale over texture. When everything gets filtered through performance metrics, eventually even art starts feeling like a system waiting to be optimized. That's why Jack's frustration never felt fake. It didn't feel like clout chasing. It felt existential. Jack has always been anti-sterility. His whole brand is messy, human, inconsistent, sometimes burned out, sometimes brilliant. And that's the point. He hits record without knowing exactly where things will land. That unpredictability, that rough edge, that lack of polish, those are the first things to die in an environment obsessed with efficiency. And once they're gone, something important goes with them. So when he looks at a thumbnail factory, a kid-focused product rollout, or an AI system trained on other creators' identities and says, "This is it, isn't it?" it doesn't sound like jealousy at all. It sounds like someone standing guard over the last layer of YouTube that still feels human. That same instinct showed up again during the Lunchly fallout, because Lunchly was never just a product issue. It was a trust issue, and that hits way harder. Influencers selling food to kids isn't new. But selling it as a better choice while leaning on brand loyalty instead of real transparency crosses into uncomfortable territory fast. That's where alarms start going off. That's why DanTDM's "Do Better" landed the way it did. It wasn't loud. It wasn't angry. It was disappointed. And disappointment cuts deeper than outrage when it comes from someone people actually trust. Jack backing him up wasn't about piling on or chasing drama. It was about drawing a line, about saying there's a difference between monetization and responsibility. And viewers felt that difference immediately. That part always gets underestimated. Audiences aren't dumb. They know when they're being marketed to. They know when messaging is carefully framed to dodge real scrutiny. And once trust cracks, it doesn't magically come back, no matter how big the brand is. And here's the nuance people love to ignore: none of this means MrBeast is some cartoon villain. That's what gets lost online every single time. MrBeast, the person, clearly cares about making the best videos possible. He obsesses over retention. He reinvests non-stop. He funds charity projects at a scale most corporations wouldn't even touch.